Oh, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Really good idea.
And it's just by putting the thought up and going up each one and seeing them close, and that will really help you.
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you.
Of course.
When I get kicked out of the meeting, what happened?
It goes to your other one that says co-host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now your co-host one is on pause.
Makes it look like there's more people in the meeting, huh? Okay. Oh, nice. So it's broadcasting in the group, and I'm sharing it to the page. All right. We on the popping. All right. So, Andrew, did you say you don't have any poetry, or?
No, I didn't write anything.
Okay. Well, do you have some older poetry you wouldn't mind reading?
Look.
All right. Older poetry is always wanted, y'all. Just to let y'all know. Sometimes people be like, "Well, I don't have any poetry." And they got like 500 pages on the dresser. There's like 300 poems they ain't written in like 20 years. Like, you can bring that up. Come on. I think it's always good to, like, go back and read to see where you was at, versus where you at now. It kicks up like new things, and sometimes makes you realize that, like, how things have changed, and maybe how we've grown. So I always encourage people to, like, dig out the old stuff, blow it off, you know what I'm saying, and visit themselves.
Visit yourself.
Yeah. How many pieces you got tonight, Phaedra? 4. Ooh. Go ahead. Go, Phaedra. Naima, how many pieces you got tonight?
I mean, I have some older ones. I also write poetry in Spanish, so maybe I could read one and then translate it.
See.
See.
See. When in doubt, see.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so let's get this started. Naima, would you like to kick it off?
Sure, why not? So I've done a lot of traveling. I worked as a mentor to students from Central and South America. And then, so when I studied abroad in Mexico, I did like the biggest trip of my life, and I just went all the way down from Mexico to Costa Rica and just stayed with different friends that I had met when they came to Amherst for the mentoring program. So I thought about them when I wrote this, and so I'll say it in Spanish, and then I'll translate. Okay. It's called Mi Gente.
Not Naima. Before you start, can everybody hear? Can everybody hear an echo?
No, no, I think we're okay.
Naima, can you hear an echo?
No,
No.
I'm fine. Do you hear me weird?
No, I don't. But well, I hear some. Here's some type of weirdness going on. So
Yeah,
what
that's what I hear.
I'm gonna mute everybody's mic, Naima, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna unmute your mic, and then you can continue. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead, Naima. Unmute your mic and yeah, thank you. Yeah, unmute your mic, Naima.
Oh, sorry. Does that sound better or does it sound the same?
It sounds a little bit better.
Okay, here, let me try this other my headphones.
Whenever I hear that bloop bloop, I think somebody's logging in. I'm like, yeah, we got another one.
Okay. Headphones in. I don't know with the noise or if it sounds weird.
Oh no, that's good. That's good.
Okay, it sounds better.
Mhm.
Okay. So this one is called Mi Gente. Mi gente es bienvenido. Mi gente es aquí tienes casa. Mi gente es te invito. Mi gente es orgullo. Mi gente es te presumo mi bandera. Mi gente es vuelva tanto. Mi gente es te quiero. Mi gente es un amor. Ay, mi gente es comida compartida. Mi gente es todos somos una familia. Mi gente es única. Mi gente es fiestera. Mi gente es baile. Mi gente es perdón. Mi gente es tesoro escondido. Mi gente es un verdadero amor. Ay, mi gente. So to say it in English, it's called My People. Um, so I said, My people is welcome. My people is here, you have a home. My people is, um, sorry, is it echoing still?
No, go ahead.
Okay. My people is, I'll invite you. My people is pride. My people is, I'll show you my flag. My people is come back soon. My people is I love you. My people is a love. Sorry if it's translating weird. My people is shared food. My people is we're all family. My people is united. My people is unique. My people is my people is dance. My people is um hidden treasure. My people is a true love.
And what's the name of that?
It's called Mi Gente, which means my people. And
Nice.
it's kind of weird because of how congregation works, but yeah, it makes more sense in Spanish.
Nice, nice. Thank you. Thank you. That
Yeah,
was dope.
very nice.
Bilingual going on.
Big time.
How many languages you know?
Just these two, and probably will forever just be these two because it took so long. It took so long
To
to
get
get
it right.
here.
So you got English,
Yeah,
Spanish, and
excuse me.
Spanglish. Huh?
Excuse me.
You got English, Spanish, and Spanglish, huh?
Yeah,
That's what's up. That's what's up. And Holyoke, you got to know Spanglish. You can't. It's not just enough to know Spanish. It's not just enough to know English. You got to know Spanglish and Holyoke. Otherwise, you kind of lost. People are like, hey, how you doing? And
Yeah.
you see Johnny. Like,
It's true. It's true.
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I do.
Andrea, did you find one for us?
Yes, but I want to say to Naima that it had a really lovely cadence to it, especially the Spanish. I don't really understand Spanish, but I sort of do a little because I studied Italian and there are some similarities, but I really liked the cadence of it. It was like waves rolling in, gentle waves rolling in. So I'm going to read the first poem I ever wrote for Poetic Recovery.
Nice.
And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodnight because I've been in a workshop all afternoon and I'm really, really tired. But I feel better having closed up all my chakras, Vedra. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is called Poetic Recovery. It's creative. Oh dear, there's an echo. I'm going to move back a little. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm going to mute all the mics. Andrea, I'll mute your mic in a second. Okay, you can go ahead and unmute, Andrea.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Poetic Recovery. It's creative. It's the life force flowing through me, recovering my sense of goodness, of worthiness, of deservingness, of value that got lost in the weeds of past traumas, of others' judgments that I took personally. My worthiness was never truly lost, only overshadowed by my misplaced trust in the opinions of others, by my lack of trust in my opinions of myself for way too long. Now I recover my own bright light. Now I reclaim my own shining star. I step out of the shadow of shame into the power of me, of the creative life force which kept pulsating until the artist in me was finally given voice, my own sweet, loving voice, resounding for all to hear, especially me. That's it.
Beautiful. Love it.
Wow.
I love that poem, Andrea. Love the ending.
Yeah,
I haven't read that in ages. It's not, I like it too.
I like that. It's called Poetic Recovery. And what I really like is like when you're talking about like people hearing your voice, things like especially me, you know, coming to a point where you're able to hear, you know, and I think that's important, you know, because sometimes like everybody else can hear but ourselves, you know, and the dynamic changes when we hear ourselves. So I really thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you, Andrea.
Yes, really nice meeting all of you. And next time I hope I can get my camera to work.
That's all right. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
I hope you
Good
get some,
night.
I hope you get some good rest. It's Phaedra.
Sure. You want me just to read one? I don't know, Dad, how are you on time?
I'm good now.
Wait, no, okay, all right. I'm
Totally
just gonna.
good.
This one is fear of being successful.
Yeah.
It is so easy to get caught up in some type of distraction, anything to divert attention away from the obstacles that really matter. Blocks to prevent eminent change or timing on how we continue to lie to ourselves in certain situations. It's easier to pull someone in instead of dealing with our own intricate, unpleasant habits. A continuation rotating on a loop. The loop has no ending. If you really wanted, you could climb on top or you could escape from the bottom to chase a dream. People allow distractions to hold permanent spaces, knowing that it will lead nowhere. Distractions are a resting period, no time for inner reflections, taking your mind off a mood, momentum, down the wrong path, stagnation. There is a conflict within the passage to move forward, an unfulfilled void holding us hostage, helping us to forget about our future. The truth is, the distraction would like to be let go of. For as long as it clings, the emptiness of the dark hole will not penetrate the light, as nothing significant is rising from the problem, only taking away the energy that does not belong to them. Feeling entitled, leaving you tapped out. Distractions, confused. This is where you were misguided. Any powerful chain can be cut, any powerful rope can be untied, any magnetic cord can be unplugged, any manifestation can come into fruition. Take the dis out of distraction and use the word traction. Let the motivation, use that for motivation to put you first. Unfettered illusions, empowering courage. So please proceed.
I like take the dis out of distraction. Very nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was my favorite line too, Mom.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
And then the track. Can you say that line again?
Which one?
Take the dis the distraction, and then the traction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take the dis out of distraction and use the word traction. Let that be the motivation to put yourself first. Unfettered illusions, empowering courage. Please proceed.
Nice.
Word.
Nice done.
Thank you.
Impressed.
Where do you think I got it from?
I have no idea. All right. Wow.
Mr. Saleem,
Yes, sir.
let me
So,
let me
go ahead.
do this. Let me let Naima read one more, and then
Okay.
Phaedra, and then we're gonna have you come on. How long would you like to read for?
Well, there was a couple of poems, like two, I was gonna read, and then there was some backup poems. But now you got me confused because you talked about going back to some of the old stuff. So I may read two relatively new, one old, and then one that's really, really short.
All right. And
Does
then
that work?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I just want everybody that tuned in. I just want to let them know that we have a featured artist tonight, Saleem Abdal-Khaaliq. I will be reading his bio before he goes on. Very, very. Oh man, I was reading it myself, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. So I'm glad he's with us tonight. So just hang in there. We're gonna get to our treat. But next up, we have 3 generations of dopeness in the room tonight. I just can't. I'm overwhelmed.
That's very
Oh,
funny.
Lord.
That's very funny.
So not, I guess it would be my turn, wouldn't it?
Yes, I want to hear Maurice.
So I wrote this poem. It's not finished yet. Every so often I'll do what I call pick poetry. And I will take a picture of someone and I'll put poetry over it. Give me 1 second. I need a charger before my phone dies. And so Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Phaedra and Maurice just left us stranded.
Oh
They
yeah,
go.
I didn't even notice that she got up too.
I know y'all got life jackets.
Yeah. 2020, you better have some kind of life jacket.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Life jackets and everything else.
Hmm.
So, I kind of want to say who it's about, but I don't want to say it yet. I don't want to give up the surprise. But this person has been like a really great person. Um, uh, how do I describe this person without giving it away? So this summer, when stuff was really hitting the fan, this person's like been all over the country, encouraging people um, to stand up, you know, and you know, because she's a woman, she's gotten a lot of flack and stuff like that, you know, but she's been carrying people on her back, you know, and women and men, you know, and you know, simultaneously addressing some real serious and important issues, you know, and you know, it amazes me how so many people have issues with each other, um, looking past the fact that we're all so closely connected. Um, it's also interesting to me, like how anger and it's not so much anger because I understand anger. Anger can be um, anger is an emotion, right? You know, I don't look at anger as a bad thing. I look at dwelling in anger without finding a solution and listening to anger as um, like, hey, this is telling me that something's going on, that I'm not comfortable with something, and there's something that I need to change. I think that when we don't listen to the anger, it can become very problematic. But I guess that's how I have come to, view anger. It's helped me kind of navigate my emotional responses and alarms to life and stuff like that. So that's helped me. Like when I get angry, I'm like, oh, okay, so there's something I'm not really liking. You know what I'm saying? I might not like this person, but why? What is this person doing? You know what I'm saying? That allows me to communicate and get things out instead of letting it fester inside and imploding. You know, but anyway, so I wrote this poem. Um, I've done these for different people. Like I wrote one from Houdini. I don't know if y'all remember Houdini. Okay. Naeem was like, "Well, I don't know who the heck that is." Um, but when we was younger, back in the 80s, there was this group, Houdini. Um, and let's see, one of their famous songs was like Friends. How many of us have them? Let's be friends. Friends. Friends are the ones you see every day. Anyways, you should check it out. I only know like the first 5 words of that song. Um, I wrote one for a few bodybuilders. Um, I was able to write one for comedian Tony Woods, who's very popular. He just got some really big kudos from David Chappelle this year. Um, so. But anyway, let me go ahead and read this. Nice to wake up to such a sight, like a light shining in the path shining a path to greatness. I'm blessed to wake to this. Shedding doubt, becoming faithful, like shedding doubt, becoming faithful like the Grinch. Hard work is failure's wrench. Success is catapult. Self-love is the soil that is the sail. Self-love is the sail that steers the ship. Social compassion, the navigator. Never catering to pettiness. You're like you're a champ. A certified greatness, sealed with change. Millions laugh because, and millions laugh with you. A great many are lost without the light you shine, the burdens you tow. Is not without gifts and blessings. Only a few can pull such weight, illuminating faith, strategy, and execution of decision. With hopefulness and precision, fly high above the pain and the change. Fly high above the pain, with change being your landing field and love your runway. With you, your motivation and choices comes change that many have failed to manifest and tame. Let it be a glorious hymn as we all speak your name. Thank you.
Very nice. That's not finished. That's good.
Nah, it's going to end there, but there's some editing that I have to do. I wrote it today.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see how much you admired that person and how much they impacted you. So
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the work that was done this year was incredible. I've seen how this person was attacked in various ways, just for one, people to live a better life, and I was like, I had to go back for this person. I didn't have to, like, there's some people that just don't need your help. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you try to stand up to defend them and you make things worse. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
probably did that,
Yeah.
trying to, hey, y'all leave her alone. Just like adding like gasoline to the fire,
That's funny.
put water on it and put it out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right, Naima, you ready?
yeah. So sorry, I'm taking us a little bit tree and more into a narrative. Because sometimes I like things that happen to me in my day and whatever form it comes out, and this kind of came out in the form of a narrative and the form of a story. But um, yeah, I'll read it. I just called it The Classroom. Okay, The Classroom. I had to rush home. It's days like these years. I can't listen to music on the train. I don't want to stop thinking. I need to remember. I'm unpacking. I smell like garlic pasta I ate last night for dinner. TMI. Oh well. I need to write, let it out now. Yesterday, December 2nd, I was having a great day until got caught in the dilemma. Although Thanksgiving was on November 26th this year, I still presented on why we celebrated to my class full of 11 and 12-year-olds. The main focus activity was on gratitude. I started off by showing a video of King President who happens to be Black. He, li- he listed all that he was grateful for in the video. We have one student in the class who is on the spectrum. His first response video is to yell out, Obama, Obama. I don't take offense, it's his association. Uh, After all, this kid president who is black, like our first black president, Obama. I take mental note but move on, not trying to ignite a potential flame with my attention. But like a forest fire, the flames burst naturally. I'm gonna say the N word, he says, or he yells. His voice was loud enough for multiple people to hear. Not everyone did, but to me it would scream directly in my ears. How long was the pause in real time? Why today? Why ever? I'm in Spain, which does nothing and everything at once. My reaction is not to react. The sparks fly in my head before I can even decide to present a physical reaction. Others let theirs out. One student is telling him something. Can't remember what she said. Es una palabra racista, says another girl sitting next to him. The girl in the corner by the door looks at me, calls over his para, and after she whispers to him, the para makes eye contact with me. The person right in front of me repeatedly asks, What's the N word? What's the N word? The teacher bends over and reads what he wrote. She says nothing, just reads. Now she and the pair are whispering. More attention is drawn, and the wildfire spreads. The flames in my ears. No one's listening because they don't know how. They can't hear me. I look at sits in the back corner of the room. She has an accent that sounds like she speaks multiple languages. I've never asked her if she was born here, and I never will. I want to assume she's Spanish. If you're born in Spain, that makes you a Spaniard. At the same time, I don't want to assume anything at all about her identity. I have questions that I don't want to have. It's a paradox. I shouldn't have to ask her. Her eyes are blank, and I can't tell if she was hearing me or listening. Was she raised to have this understanding? Here I go. No choice, but I do. I pour chemicals to the fire. How do you gracefully add flames to the fire? Brackets, student's name. That was not appropriate. I make eye contact with him. People are no interference from the adults. Am I the only adult? Questions are still being asked. They've asked me that already. I heard you, and my answer is to stay quiet. I don't have the time. I don't have the answer pre prepped and ready to go. We've moved on with saying what we're thankful for, and I don't remember how we transitioned, but he raised his hand. He wants to go. If I don't call on him, he'll take it personally. If I do call on him, I might be lighting a match. He's on the spectrum, but even so, everyone deserves respect and second chances. Yes, brackets, student's name. I say as neutrally as possible. I'm thankful for my family, my house, having money, my games, and I'm thankful that I didn't say the N word. Wrong move. I forgot to pour water on dead leaves and grass. Honestly, I didn't know where the water was or how much of it I needed. The air was still parched with nothing to gasp in besides the leftover carbon dioxide. There's no one here, but there's no one in here to blame for this natural disaster, nor did the fighter fires show up because they were never called. But it did. Others might have shared their responses before then, but I couldn't tell you for certain. I quickly step out. My legs are on autopilot and my brain is stuck in rush hour traffic. Now I'm on the train and I'm unpacking. I can't let that slide. It needs to be addressed. These kids think I'm pretending so that they don't fall back on the comfort of them knowing that I can understand them. This job requires, but do I have this talk with him in English or Spanish? If I talk to him in Spanish, he'll either out me in my exceptional capabilities, or he'll refuse to speak in English again because it's inconvenient for him. If I speak in English, he might not understand the emotional toll. I mean, he's also a in one ear and out the other anyway. How do I begin? Will the adults give me the time and space to do it? Who needs to be present? I've given up on the thought of someone who can empathize with me. There's one other ox who is also black, but she wasn't there. It was tomorrow for last period, and I don't have this lesson planned.
Thank
Oh,
you for sharing that.
okay. Thank you very much. You know, I got caught up embarrassingly when you was when you was talking when you was saying if I don't call on him, he'll take it personally, but if I call on him, I'm igniting the flames. I'm like, so that's what these teachers was thinking about me when I was in school, huh? You know? But no, it was so much detail and so like I'm like watching this story going on. So I think it was well written. Short stories are welcome as well. You know what I mean? So I thank you for sharing that with us. You know.
Thanks. Yeah. It was just a lot. It bothered me because it's Spain overall in general, there's just a lack of cultural competency and the schools do it so badly, but there's not enough time for it. And you're just like it makes me like think back to my classes. I took Afro Am like class and we focused on different narratives, and one of the things we talked about was the double consciousness, being aware of how others view you and how you're perceived. But it's like I was basically alone in that situation and it bothered me and people couldn't tell that it bothered me. But I don't know. It was just a lot.
And that's the interesting. I'm not a teacher per se, but I've taught classes. You know, and the interesting thing is like a teacher has to be an actress, actor. You know, it's like play so many different roles. I just couldn't imagine doing that for more than 4 hours once a month. I
Mm.
couldn't, you know, and especially depending on the age group. Like the K through 5 group, I'm cool with. You know, the other kids, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Not
But
so
thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it on. I take it on. Oh, absolutely. I would take it on any day. You know what I'm saying? But I think the K through 5, they're willing to absorb more. You know, so it makes it easier. I mean, that's just my experience. You know, so Phaedra, you got something to say about it?
Naima, I feel how I understand how you're feeling about this because I just being a woman of color and having to consciously all the time deal with microaggressions and things like that. I understand when things are happening, you feel like it's unjust and you don't have someone supporting you, you know. But the thing that you have to do is when things come up, I think that you have to address people so that the next time it happens, then they're more conscious or aware of it. Sometimes people don't speak up because they're afraid to, you know what I'm saying? But it's better to speak on it than to ignore stuff because perhaps the second time around, they'll handle it differently. They might be speaking up for somebody that really doesn't have a voice. I know you're a strong, independent woman, but it's better to address it when it comes up. Thank you for sharing it. You're a phenomenal writer. I want you to keep going with it. Keep going with it because you're great. Love you.
Love
Okay.
being my
So,
biggest supporter.
all right. So, I want to encourage you to continue writing as well, partly because you're in a different space. And there's a recent book that came out by a sister that we know called Audrey Edwards. And it's called Black and Free in Paris during the Trump years. And it's a sister who, once she realized that Trump was going to be the president, that she just booked and went to Paris. and she actually wrote a book about it. So when you get a chance, you can kind of look it up. The author's name is Audrey Edwards. But I think you should continue to write journal if you call it such, and because at some point when you're in another space, that writing is going to be very, very valuable. Okay.
Okay, okay.
And journaling to me seems to be a skill because every time I start writing a journal, I just forget to write in it. You know, so but if you can keep up with the mad props, man. I started like 500 journals and forgot to write them all.
Sorry. Yeah. It's
But
true.
I agree with your mom too. You know, like what I would do want to say though is like, especially in your position, being able to call it out in such a way where like you're not pushing heavily at them, opening up their eyes at the same time and getting them to understand like how wrong it is what they've done, or how they said, how they treated you or communicated,
This one.
and, and get them to change. For me, I feel like it's a challenge because I come at people. I'm like, yo, you're wrong. This is why. Does that? Don't do it again. Your position is going to take much more. What's the word? Tactfulness. You know what I'm saying? And just knowing you over the last couple of weeks and like hearing your poetry and stuff like that, I know you're able to do it. So yeah. I want to welcome Daniel Ty. Daniel, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. I'm just gonna mute everybody's mic real quick, and Daniel, you're gonna unmute your mic after I mute it. All right, Daniel, go ahead. Unmute your mic. You're muted. You gotta unmute your mic.
Okay,
Daniel.
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. Hold on, I'm trying to set this up where I
Daniel
can.
Ty is a musician. He makes beats for Poetic Recovery. Right now he's working on a project with Terry Reynolds, who's a gospel singer out of Springfield. Daniel, where you living at, Daniel? Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Ty.
Well, I'm Maurice's nephew. I'm in California right now. I mean, I got a lot to say about myself, but I
Say,
went through a tough situation. Like my story or what?
no,
What you
not
want me
your
to
whole
say?
story, man. We'll be here till next
That's
week.
the story.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, a little bit about yourself, what you do, you know what I'm saying? So we can, get it on pop.
What I do? Well, right now I'm managing a warehouse here in California. I'm a man of faith, and I make music, and I can write poetry, but I don't do it as much. I'm just artistic, period. So I'm the type of person that sees situations or problems, and I can take them apart and put them together well. Like, so if I see something that's off, I'm very good at like breaking it down and like finding a solution to the problem. Like, that's my thing. So I got a lot of stuff I could do. If I said everything I do, I'd be talking all night.
Hey, man, why don't you break one of those rhymes you got down poetically? You know what I'm saying? So, people can get an idea what your skill set is like.
So break it down. So you said break it down poetically, like a song or something I did?
yeah, take one of your rhymes and just do it without the music.
Okay. Well, one of my favorite songs, I got two that's my favorite right now. One is called Offended No More, and one is called So Numb. And so I guess I do So Numb. But the lyrics go, first a day with you was like paradise. A phone conversation lasted through the night. I always thought you were the wifey type, and I was so infatuated with the hype that I didn't see you had another side. I was in too deep when I realized I had my heart on forever. Now I can see why. I used to vibe with you. I felt so alive with you. My feelings died for you. How did I become so numb? All that I did for you, all I give for you, I'm no longer missing you. How did I become so numb? Then the second verse is bitterness ate my soul like a cancer while I was steady searching for the answer of how I could hate you so much when we used to be so in touch. I really had love for you, so much I couldn't get enough on you. Now I really want to break free to show you love and mercy. Father, teach me how to forgive so I can go on and live. I no longer want to walk in the dark from all the offense I have in my heart. Open up my eyes to see so I can have some inner peace because it's blowing my mind that I used to vibe with you. I felt so alive with you. My feelings died for you. How did I become so numb? All I did for you, all I give for you. I'm no longer missing you. How did I become so numb? So, oh, she shook the rock on me.
Hey, y'all, you can unmute your mics. Wow.
That was amazing.
I loved
Oh,
it.
wow.
Oh, that was very nice. I like it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Definitely.
Um,
How can I be so numb?
yeah.
You might have to
Well,
you might have to throw dumb in there at some point though.
you said so dumb.
But I'm just saying. No, I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
it though. It was very good. It was very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Well, I wrote it because I was in like I was in a marriage, you feel me? And I just wanted to know like how could somebody be like for us to have loved each other so much in the beginning and for all the the fluff and
hmm
everything to be there. How do we ever get to a point to where we hated each other? And why was it so hard for me to forgive her after I had gotten to that point? It was like a struggle for me to forgive. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you're not alone in that situation.
Yeah.
People do that. Mm-mm-mm. Amazing, amazing writing.
Mhm. So
That, that,
I was sitting one day and I just kind of it just came to me and I was just like, let me make this song real quick.
yo, that
Very
rhyme makes
nice.
me mad.
You say it makes you mad?
Yeah, because I thought
Uh-huh.
I thought I was the greatest writer in the family.
Oh no, you know what I'm saying? I
That's
complimented
funny.
that.
No, that's great, man. And like, you know what I really like about that, man, and what makes me appreciate that about you, man, is like, I don't know, like from what I've learned about our family, you know what I'm saying? Like the history of domestic violence, you know what I'm saying? And to hear you talk about like, you know, like how did it get to this point? You know, being, you know, introspective about it. You know, how did it get to this point? How do I like hate you so much? Like, you know, and deeper than that, like, how do I forgive you so I can move on? You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing, man. That's amazing. You know, and how old are you now?
I'm 30.
Yeah, man, you
Oh,
still young and thinking like that, man. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty dope, man. And it shows how mature you are. You know, and you know, I congratulate you on that. You know, and but you're also like encouraging other men to think along those lines. Like, you know, let's think about this, not just react to it, but let's really think about this. Let's act on it in terms of like how do we free ourselves rather than, you know, abusing others because of the pain that they've bestowed upon us. You know? And so,
mhm.
you know, I man, that's good work. Good work.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I feel like when you really got a heart for people and you're really not I feel like okay, I'm
I
gonna say
am.
this. I think
I am.
somebody there?
I am. No, no, no,
Oh,
no. I'm sorry. I'm having a
okay.
side conversation. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mhm. But I would say that I feel like a lot of people in our generation are very
Dan, you got to unmute your mic.
do this stuff.
No,
Can you hear
you
me?
good. Go ahead. Go ahead. You good.
It kind of like did it on its own. It's weird.
No,
Um,
I did it. I muted everybody's mic.
oh, okay, okay.
I got
But I
magic.
feel like I was just saying, I feel like a lot of people in our generation are very narcissistic. and it hates me. I mean, it hurts me to hate people.
Yeah.
And that's a major reason why I wrote it. And because I feel like why would you want to have that thing in your heart towards somebody where you would want to get so far to where you would do something to, you know what I'm saying, hurt them? You know, why would you want to do that? So instead of me flipping out or becoming irate and allowing it to get me into a place to where I would, you know, to go that far, I would rather write about it. I would rather speak about it. And I would rather put it in songs so that somebody can hear and maybe be like, well, you know, how did I get to this position? And how could I break past this position to love again, you know, to feel for people again, as opposed to being bitter or holding on to it. And then you affect everybody else's life with that bitterness when you have it. And so I wanted to let that go because I got tired of coming around people and being the negative Nancy. Well, I don't know what a male version of it. Negative Nick. I'm gonna say negative Nick. Being negative Nick, you know, around everybody talking about, you know, all of the bad, all of the hurt, all of the pain and all that. So I wanted to forgive. So I wrote about it. And it actually helps me today because when I think about that scenario and I sing that song, it's like, you know, I can be free to, you know, forgive and not walk around all numb and hurt and beat up. So, you know, I love it. It was written out of a nice place in my heart, and I think it'll help a lot of people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Naima and Phaedra, you guys got anything to say before we go to our featured poet?
No, but I don't know. I know it's late for Naima. I can always stay on later and read a couple poems after if my dad has to go too. So don't worry about me. I'm good.
Okay. Naima, do you have anything to say about the poem that Danny just read?
I mean, I really liked it. It had really good flow, and she wrote it from a good place because honestly, like it, I would have thought just the opposite, you know, that you experienced. So I'm glad you got over that because that could be, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine, you know?
Right.
And can I say something
Yeah.
real quick too? I loved it. I loved it. And I just want to say that your energy is really good right now. So obviously you're coming from a place of healing. And that's always great. Keep up the great work.
Okay.
Amazing.
And
Thank you all. Thank
and
you all very much, Danny. I'm gonna thank you for reading that. We're gonna. Oh man, this brother. Hold up. Let me get this. Let me get this bio because I gotta read this because when I read it, I was like, oh, he's coming to Poetic Recovery. Oh my God. So
so
I
all right,
want to.
before you do, I just have to echo what Naima said, and you are coming from a place. There's an old saying that hurt people, and you're not in that space, and that's it. That's to your credit. Sure.
For you all just tuning in, we just had a couple rounds of poetry. And we're heading into our feature. It's been a long time since we had a feature. And so I'm ecstatic to say that, our feature, is stellar. I'm going to read the bio right here. Saleem Abdal-Khaaliq was born and raised in Massachusetts and spent many years in California. His written works are essentially experimental, and often meet at the nexus of conscience and visceral utterance. The book of poems address our shifting thoughts, like sand and the trails of impressions never before imagined. Saleem's work has appeared in the Chronogram Magazine and several anthologies, including River Crossing, Voices of the Diaspora, and a literary journal, Signifyin Harlem. The Next Generation. He has read his poetry at the former Cornelia Street Café and other venues. Selected poems by Saleem are a series of life's journey, his own and those he has observed. It is a book broken down into 10 chapters: dawn, love, wisdom, reality, mirror, spirit, noise, fear, music, and time. It moves from some early writings towards the vastness of lessons from experience and inner reflection. The works often drawing, even pictures of feelings invoked by how one sees them and interprets them. From the gift of our children, their meaning and the bearing that they have on our future selves, to the role each of us play in a tribute to a Broadway play, or the celebration of Rosa Park's life, the ups and downs of love and relationships with musing on music and how it riffs into our very being. As described by Ellis Cose, the effects is not unlike the experience of people who put on a pair of glasses for the first time. The world is the same, yet richer, more sharply defined, as nuances often hidden reveal themselves. Poetry is often the spaces that are left unsaid, the gap between meaning and spokenness. Come to this work as a passenger and be transported. A trip you won't want to miss. A world to be explored through the lens of Saleem Abdal-Khaaliq. Poetry. Welcome, Saleem. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce and bring to you Saleem Abdal-Khaaliq. Welcome, Saleem. Please unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you so much, Maurice. A couple of things that I just want to, before I start, I'm only going to do some, but a couple of things I wanted to bounce off of is that Maurice was talking about anger and how that works. My poetry started through anger. It was my way of expressing feelings that I had no idea what to do with. And so my early poetry was really, it was filled with a lot of curse words. It was filled with, as many names as I could think of to call people that I wasn't like. So it was all anger, but it transformed over time. The other thing that Maurice mentioned was he mentioned Dave Chappelle. So I'm just telling everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, Dave Chappelle has a 20-minute bit on Netflix called Unforgiven. And it's worth every minute of the 20 minutes. So definitely take a look at that if you haven't. All right, so the first poem I'm going to read is called Coronation. And I wrote it during the epicenter of coronavirus because I'm here in New York City and we were hit the hardest in the beginning. All right, so immune mummies encased in gloves, scared of losing the ones they love. I see you needing intensive care. Nurses curse as time moves in reverse, like a Scorsese, Spike, Spielberg, Steven joint. Hostages in hospitals in a park near Park Avenue. The hospitality of hospice. $7.99 today. 6 feet under or 6 feet away. Contiguous contagion continues in isolation for an antidote to flatten the slope that perchance will bring us hope. Soldiers standing in solemn solitude, saluting spring's early daffodils. Palm Sunday, just another reminder to wash your hands. The world put on pause because no one understood a menace they never saw. The prayers invoked an angel of mercy whose wings were made of straw.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Minute, Dad. Oh my God, I love it. Poetry is hot.
All right.
We gotta stop doing
All right.
No
Yes.
talk. No, we're just gonna let him keep going. He's the featured artist.
Okay. All right. So this is called Looted Poem. I can't write because my hands are up. I can't write because I can't breathe. I can't write because there's a knee on my neck. I can't write because I'm in handcuffs. I can't write because my life doesn't matter. I can't write because is always because. There are pens in my mind. There are masks on my mouth. There are gloves on my hands. And I can't write because written words are in quarantine. Distance between words is not social. I can't write because I can't write because I can't write. R-I-G-H-T. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a really old poem only because Maurice suggested it. This is probably something I wouldn't read otherwise, but I'm gonna throw it out there. It's called Gone is Dawn Essence, a time when young Black beginnings cherished the spirit of life and reveled in the marvel of destiny. Before vision became television, where Black males were life rather than lifers. A wellspring of offspring emerged from a dearth in the earth. Stillborn, the yet tender flowers left the mind memories of those who were to lead us astray. Missed lives taken by the doorway. Strong Black beginnings instead traded blood banks for sperm bank in a war that was never declared. Endless by those who were to heal us well. But it was a recession, like recess only longer. Their thoughts processed, only their hair was natural, naturally dry, created by Operation Desert Shield, and an oil embargo left them hopeless by those who were to leave us alone. Behind bars of metal and spirits distilled by the presence of law and disorder. Courageous Black beginnings, the babies they made for the babies they laid. Upstairs of welfare, worn thin by farewells, a child of children that had fallen through the crack in their souls, emptied by those who were to fill us up. Unleaded, because the paint chips never left the dwelling. They paid the price but couldn't count the cost of not being themselves. Either way we lose, despised and confused. Another mind lost by those who were to teach us hope, because they could not keep their eyes on the prize. Okay, all right, so we went way, way back on that one. I'm going to do a really short one. It's called Yellow Brick Road. People of color with blue collars and no green card meet red, white, and blue smiles head on in white collars who use invisible ink to redline and blackball all in the same stroke.
You said it's called the Yellow Brick Road,
Yes,
and then you said the red. Can you read that one more time?
I will. All right, Yellow Brick Road. People of color with blue collars and no green card meet red, white, and blue smiles head on in white collars who use invisible ink to redline and blackball all in the same stroke.
Now, when you mix those colors together, does it make yellow?
No, that what it does make is a brick wall that they can't get around. That's what it makes. And you can call it yellow for being cowardly. That was kind of the intent.
Yeah,
But it's a wall that no matter what they do, they can't get over it.
yeah.
Um,
It's it's funny. It's like I was watching Wildin' Out, and I don't know, this show just like got me. And so there was an episode where they were acting things out, and this lady ran across the stage and over this like kind of hump or whatever, and the guy was like, "Look down on Trump, she got over the wall." You know what I mean? And
right. Yeah,
it's like,
it's
I
true.
hear what you're saying, but I'm also like, man, like I'm also grateful that like no matter what these people do, you know, people find a way around it somehow.
Round.
You
Yes,
know what I
I
mean?
agree.
It's like, I'm grateful that oppression isn't really oppression is as powerful as we allow it to be in our minds. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So, I know it's powerful, but I'm just saying like culture, your writing allows us to like keep pushing. I appreciate
yes, and look at it in a different perspective. So I'm only going to do two more.
it. Okay.
This one is called "There Is Nothing Harmonious About Melody." There is nothing harmonious about melody. She sits on the edge of a tattered bar stool, wondering who will buy her the next drink. The music in her head makes her hips grind like she's churning butter in the cream. Her missing front tooth is a chord out of key. There is nothing harmonious about melody. Her chin holds a G clef, her lips wound into a question mark. She doesn't have time for pretty. Her mind is made up like her face, both hollow echoes of unsung songs reflecting a morbid desire to know who she is. The mirror on the wall spooks her as she gulps the lonely shadow melting in ice. The glass now on her knee, her skin peels like toast from a sun that never was. Lotion that feels like soothing spit from another mouth open in suggestion. She swallows the misery down with the music and hums with mascara made of notes.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
All
Wow.
right, so I'm gonna end with what I call a tea poem, and some people get upset because what happened it affected so many people's lives, but it started buzzing in my head as two twin towers, and this is the poem that resulted. It's called Terror, Take Two. Two twin towers topple, ticker tape turns to tar, teams toil to tally toll. Tomahawks torment tent towns to teach Taliban true theology. Tattered, thin tenets tarry timidly toward tomorrow's treaty. Taut tongues testified tragedy took 3,000. Transfer trial to tribunal. Tell tall tales that tie taxes to temporary trade troubles. Take time to taste tea, then turn television to Third World Tonight at 9 and 11.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Saleem, Saleem, Saleem. Come on, y'all. Unmute your mics. Put your hands together. Make some noise. Come on, yo, unmute that mic, bro.
All right. Yes, indeed. All right. So, I enjoyed meeting you all. I'm probably going to sign out in a bit, unless anybody got any questions about the whole process. Other than that, I'll make myself less. I'll make myself less dense.
What I like to do, if that's okay,
Sure.
is maybe bring you back at some point so people can listen to you talk about your process of writing.
Sure. That'd be fantastic.
What I like to do is like to help promote your book on the website, Poetic Recovery. So if you can send the information.
Absolutely. Okay, so I can also put it out there. It's I'll send it to you, but it's the book is called Mind Sand and the website is mindsandbook.com.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I just want to say, please get into making an audiobook version or just you reading it out loud and recording it. I would love that so much.
Okay, that's I never thought of that because I have to say this. When I write, I don't write for it to be recited.
Yeah.
I mean, I write it for the impression that someone who is reading it to themselves, how that will fit. But I've never written things to be recited. I'm not like a spoken word poet. I'm like, this is it. And some of my poems are part of the meaning is in how they're structured. I'm gonna just try and give you. I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay. Some of my poems are written in the way that I tell them, and that's hard to get across if you're trying to read it out loud to somebody. So they are read to be written. I mean, they are written to be read.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So I loved it. This was big fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad you loved it. I mean, it was dope. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, absolutely. All right, so I will see
Love
you. Till
you.
next time. Till
All
next
right.
time. Love
Bye-bye.
you
Thanks
all.
for
All right.
coming.
Good
Love you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right. Thank you.
I'm also. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'm
Bye,
going.
baby. I know it's
Bye,
late over
mom.
there. Bye. Love
Yeah,
you.
Thank you, Naima. I
love
appreciate it.
you. Okay.
All right, bye bye.
You.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Hasta luego.
Gracias.
Absolutely.
De nada.
Bye, baby.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, Phaedra and Daniel, we gotta talk about this.
Hmm.
Phaedra, I owe you a debt of gratitude. I want to say thank you. You brought your daughter into the picture, and your father, and now your father, two great, incredible artists. You
Thank
know,
you.
thank you so much.
Mhm.
I've gotten Daniel on tonight. Gotta try to get some other parts of my family on, so I can match you there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You're in the lead right now. Okay, you're in the lead.
Okay.
Oh, but so to end this off, there's a small discussion I would like for us to have. Um, we are in, although these holidays are like the history of these holidays are really ridiculous. Thanksgiving and Christmas, and um, I would like to talk about gifting words and what that means. And what I mean is that um, Daniel brought up something that is very important, um, uh, which is about forgiving. Um, and I was just thinking, like, one of the things that we can do to really help change things is like being intentional on how we communicate with people, which is so hard, really hard. And intentionally giving goodness with our words, you know. And, for me too, that's going to be, I usually try to be, make sure that like when I say things to people, um, um, I try to, for the most part, I try to be more positive than anything, unless I'm talking about the way things are. It just sounds negative because I just see so much negativity, But lately I've been like, you know what? I'm going to force myself to see what goodness is in the world. And by doing that, I'm going to, try to be more positive in my own words, which I think I am generally, but it could be more intentional. And so I thought that we'd have a little discussion about gifting words. That could be in the form of wisdom. It could be in form of even if we don't like somebody or what somebody does, we could say it in a way where it brings light to them and encourages them to be more proactive. But then the other thing too is like sometimes we like try to be more positive without really trying to find out where people are coming from and what's going on in the background. So we can help them address that so they can get over that. So I want to open this up for a little discussion on gifting words and what that means to you. Let's go with you, Phaedra. Your mic is on. Your mic is off. Your mic is muted. Turn it on. Turn it on.
Gifting words. So I think I've always had a problem. We talk about forgiveness and stuff like that. When I've gotten angry with people, I've always blurted out how I was feeling. I never thought about anybody else's feelings, and it's just me acting on impulse. I think we had a discussion about this not too long ago, Maurice, is when you get angry about something, if you don't address it when it comes up, it kind of builds up and then you just explode. And usually I have a pretty good temperament, but that's usually when my reaction comes up and I get angry with somebody. And then when it comes out, the anger comes out, there's no going back. I mean, I've lost a lot of friends because of it. What I've learned to do is to, when I'm feeling hot and really angry and bothered, I sit in it and I wait a second and I breathe. And then I ask myself, what is it that's really triggering me at this point? Why do I feel like I need to react this way, and where are they coming from? So usually when I'm angry about something, instead of me responding, you'll get the word from me, all right. And that's me sitting and taking time to process what just happened. So I feel for being able to gift people and have a better approach at handling situations is probably just to wait and breathe and think on it. Because usually when people are angry, most of the time it doesn't have anything to do with you. It's coming from something within them, and they might just be expressing it to you, but you're internalizing it. You're internalizing like it's you, and it may not be you. Do you get what I'm saying? Does this make sense? So I feel like just the best approach is probably just to take a time out and breathe and think about why this person is coming this way. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, and you know, how do you think we could how do you think we can help create a society just using our words?
A better society?
A more healthier, a more spiritual, a more peaceful society.
I feel like it has to be done as a collective. People's consciousness would have to be raised. I feel that that's what, that's what we're here to do. We're here to be on earth to love one another and respect one another. Somehow that got lost, but I think if we are conscious and we're aware and we're spreading, look, even if you look at Facebook years ago, they didn't talk about spirituality and people energy and vibrations and all this stuff. Do you see how much it's changed? So there's definitely a shift going on, and maybe that's part of the reason why we're sitting in quarantine. We have to sit and look and read these quotes and start looking at ourselves and processing, maybe I'm not the nicest person. I'm reading this and this resonates with me. Maybe this is how I react. What can I do to be different? Everybody's evolution, it's different. Their process of growth is different. But that's why I always try and post positive comments on my page, because you never know what somebody's going through.
Thank you, Phaedra. Daniel, can you mute your mic, please, sir?
Unmuted, yes, sir.
Yo, you know what, Phaedra? I haven't seen this kid since he was little.
Yeah.
Dan, we talked about that visit, right?
No, we ain't talk about it. But I remember
I talked to somebody about visiting you guys. Who was it? Was it Shandon?
probably Shannon or Ronnie or one of those.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
Woo, Lord. I mean, all together I got 14, but just with my mom I got 6.
I still got you beat, bro. I still got you beat, bro. Unless your pops come out and just start like dropping them again, bro, I got you beat.
My pops got 8 and my mom got 7.
My mom got 13, okay? By herself, all right? My pops got about 3, 4, well, me, Melody, and Mark, that's 3. He got 3 others. and one or two others that I met. I don't know if he got more out of that. So that's easily 16, bruh.
Dang, that's crazy.
No,
He probably got
right?
more. He probably got more. That's wild.
But gifting words. What does that
Hmm.
mean? What does that mean to you? And
Well,
what
one of the things
effect?
I heard,
What
one of the
effect?
things, say it again.
Gifting words. What does that mean to you? And what effect do you think it can have on society?
I think that well, one thing that she said, because she was talking about like Facebook or whatnot.
You talking about Facebook?
Yeah, and she was talking about how social media has changed over the years. That's due to a lot of the social engineers, and that's due to a lot of the people that's behind the scenes trying to create these different algorithms to group people into certain, areas. And so when they see major trends, they push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, and it somehow get to my page and your page, and Maurice's page. But okay, with gifting words, one of the biggest things I thought about is um, if it's a gift, there's a time to give gifts and there's a time where you shouldn't give gifts. And I think that the best way that we can give words sometimes is to not give the words at all. I think it's too many people, like how she was saying, a lot of times when she was angry, she would say things, um, or a lot of times when we feel emotions, we want to talk. And one thing that I tell a lot of my friends is, if you're angry, shut up. Don't talk when you're angry. It's a waste of your time because you out of anger rests in the bosom of a fool, meaning that you'll do anything out of that emotion of anger. And so I think some of the one of the best ways that we can give words is don't give them at all. And I've learned in silence is so much more powerful sometimes than when you're speaking, because when you got too many words coming out, you're not giving yourself enough time to listen and observe to know how to give or to gift those words. And so I would say silence first, then observe, and then after you address the situation, like on the inside, after you pull it all in and hone it in, then you say, okay, now that I saw this, now that I recognize this, now that I see what's going on, I know that I can say this in this scenario, and where it will lead to after I say it, or I know that I cannot say nothing at all, and maybe because sometimes I, there's so many ways I can explain it. But for instance, a lot of people will call me and be like, "I need prayer," right? I sometimes I don't pray for people. I don't. I tell them what you might need is a word of wisdom or a word of advice. You might not need prayer. You might have the answer. And so let's talk about this in such a way where I can if the answer is in you, I can inspire you so that you can pull out the answer. You feel like you're like, okay, well, I got it now. So it's just I think it's about being choosy and knowing what situation to speak in, what situation to say, what in, and what situation to leave alone. And it goes back to social media. I used to see people post stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna comment on everything that goes against everything I got to believe or say about a certain topic. And one time I was sitting and listening to the Book of Wisdom, and it said, every problem is not one for you to intermeddle in. And I see where it's so less controversy, so less chaos and confusion and stuff that comes to my page, because I learned that sometimes I can cast my pearl before swine by giving my good gift of words. So why be trampled on and why give it to swine when I can, what I'm saying, keep it, and I can get that gift to myself and be like, well, Dad, you're gonna be powerful today. Today is gonna be an awesome day. You're gonna be, it's gonna be wonderful today. Today is gonna be this, or today is gonna be that. Where when I know I may have something positive to say to somebody when I approach them, but that they may not receive that positivity. That might not be the thing that changes their, what I'm saying, they day. Sometimes they might have to hear the shut up. That might be the most positive and encouraging thing that that might be the most encouraging thing that you could sometimes say to people. And so I think that positivity is based on I was gonna say the vernacular, but based on what situation, like it's based on the situation and it's based on how that person receives what you're saying. But the only way that you can know to give it to them is by observing the person first. Just like when I was in high school and I was playing football, there was a coach that would get mad and he would throw a chair at one player, but it's another player he wouldn't dare throw a chair at, you know. But that throwing that chair at that one guy made him score 30 points a game, made him score 40 points a game, made him be the best player. But throwing the chair at the other guy might have been killing that person's, you know what I'm saying, making him feel like more of a failure. Why am I getting the harsh punishment? Why am I going through this? And then you might not know he at home, somebody might be throwing a chair at him at home. So it's positive to one, but it's not positive to the other. So sometimes you just can't say anything at all. You sit back, you observe, like how she said, I just take a deep breath and I just, you know, I relax and, you know, and I kind of think about it, like, you know, what are you about to say? Why are you going to say this or whatnot? And then you move from there, because what's positive to one may not be positive to the next.
Right.
I know I said
Well, with that,
you know.
we're gonna end with that. Let people sit on that. Let us sit on that. And what I would like to do is challenge you all to come back next Friday with a poem on gifting words. All right. Phaedra, I know you have some more poetry. So before we go, I want to, you know, invite you to share some more pieces with us.
I like this. This is what I need.
So I'll probably read one more, Maurice, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What'd you say?
I said, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, this one isn't titled, but it's called, there is no title. I have to get one. He doesn't want you to leave because that is what everyone does. In painful moments of rejection, people ask themselves, what could I have done differently? The truth is, people that love you always stay. People that only want to take from you often leave. People that love you unconditionally cannot see a future without you. So relish in yourself and be with unconditional people. That's it. Short.
Wow. Wow.
Because conditional people have never ever been a benefit.
I know that's right.
They have not. They get what they get, and once they done,
They're out.
that's
They
it.
out.
Or conditional people are the same ones when the phone is not ringing, they call and they be like, "Hey, can you do da da da?" And you be like, "Can you?" And they be like, "Click."
Hey, Danny, can you position? Danny, can you position your phone so we can see your whole face?
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
No, that's good. Cool.
There we go. Boom. But yeah, I
You know,
like that. That was good. I'm
I do.
actually in a place right now
Thank
where I
you.
needed that. I needed that.
I like that too.
Thank you.
It was good.
Short and sweet. You know how I keep them. I'm getting a little bit better, but most of them are short and sweet.
When she first came out, her poems was like 5 seconds long,
Oh wow. She was like, whoa, whoa.
and then I was bothering her about getting up to 50 seconds. And then one time she came on with a poem that was 5 minutes long. I was like, yeah, that's a bit much, but no, I'm just. You know, she has Phaedra has some great work. She has a lot of great work.
Thank you.
But I
It's
got
interesting because most of my songs are only really a few sentences. And I was listening to like the industry music and whatnot. But if you really, they keep it so short and sweet. Now it's gotten down to like 2 minutes, whereas Michael Jackson used to be performing for, a whole 15, 20, 30-minute movie. And that's just, I learned that they know how to very briefly get to where they trying to get to, make you feel that climax and get you all excited. Then they on their way.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of industry music isn't saying anything though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really don't say anything. That's why I'm like, we need to get back to the cultural aspect where like we are inviting people to get in touch with themselves and connect with other people, those around us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I think the problem too is, and I've been talking about this a lot lately is we've been assimilating into somebody else's culture for so long.
It's not even and it's not even culture we're assimilating into. It's a bunch of
Yeah,
lies and garbage, yo.
right.
And people
And
don't realize it because there's a lot of money behind it.
right. Hmm.
You know, and one like we have like a really violent society.
Yeah.
You know, I
Hmm.
mean, society's been violent, but like this is ridiculous.
Right. I agree.
You
I
know,
agree. I think that once we stop assimilating though, and we start to do our own thing, then I think it changes things. Because one thing that people fail to realize is yes, it's money there, yes, it's power and success there, but it's just as much money and power and success on the other side. You know what I'm saying? As it is on that one. And I'm not saying you go to either for money, but I think you go to where you go for fulfillment. And so if they want their fulfillment in what's on that side, then go over there by all means. But in
yeah.
the end, it leaves you empty. But you know,
That's why I
it'll
don't. You don't. I mean, you hear me criticize the other side, but not much. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying
right,
to keep my focus on this side. You know what I mean? And you know, like
right,
I've had people over the years like, "Yo, well, how much money can I get?" And I'm like, well, how many followers do you have? And they're like, well, none. It's like, so you want me to pay you for bringing it to an event while I'm working to get people to the event? How much sense does that make? You know, it don't. You know what I'm saying? And people don't get that the purpose of this, right, is to bring us alive.
right,
I'm saying, and to realize our power.
mm,
And they don't understand the worth in that in and of itself.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But more people have been waking up to that and understanding like there's a power in this right here in poetic recovery that they're not gonna get, you know, from many other places.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like Andrea, she was talking about like she never wrote a poem until it came to poetic recovery.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And now she's starting to listen to her inner self. There's more she's doing to hear herself.
hmm,
You know, it's people like her and other people that have like came and like we've discussed real issues, recovery, and wrote about them. People have been able to let go of past pains and stuff like that and freed up. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, this is like really amazing. This is like really incredible. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's
I'm hearing
interesting. It's interesting you said that because I always thought poetry was like I look at the sun and and then the moon. I'm like, whatever that is, they can keep that. But
poetry can be like
uh-huh. From hearing
poetry
y'all
can be
today,
like
I understand that it's just simply you talking to somebody with a language that can, it has a specific language to it. And it
no,
doesn't have to be all
it really doesn't.
theatrical. Uh-huh.
It doesn't really have a specific language.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, unless you wanted to, like
Right.
if you create your own language and you're like, okay, so this is the language to my poetry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can write stuff and people can dedicate their whole lives to understanding your language.
Wow. That's good.
You know what I'm saying? People have dedicated their whole lives in studying poets because,
Uh-huh.
you know, they were considered great, right? And so like people have went to college and have spent years studying Robert Frost or other writers and poets and have written their thesis on other writers. Henry David Thoreau, um, Dr. King. Dr. King was an amazing poet and writer. Um, James Baldwin, you know, like people have spent 20 years. People 6 years old spent 20, 30 years on studying one writer or a couple writers. You're like, wow, you know what I mean? So words are symbols that we utilize so that we know the message that we're conveying. You know, so that's why when I talk to people, I'm like, no, we have to know what we're saying. Like, if you're saying something, I don't understand you, and we're using the same word, and I'm like, well, do you mean this? And you're like, no, I mean that. And I'm like, how do you mean that when the word means this? And people get frustrated with me sometimes, but I'm like, I want to understand. Otherwise, like if I'm thinking you mean this, I'm thinking one thing, you're saying another. And for years, we're going like having conversation about two different things, right? Never connecting at all. You know what I'm saying? Because words are symbols, and there's a whole separate study on symbols themselves, and words is part of it.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And but that's one of the frustrating things about the Black community is that, like, for me, is like, when someone decides to become smart or educated, people down the smart person. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, that makes no sense at all. Like, educating uplifts us, right? We are meant to be wise. We're meant to be educated, right? The more educated we get, the more we can create and break each other free. You know what I'm saying? It's that internalized oppression that keeps us more oppressed than anything else. You know what I'm saying? So we have to push harder from within to free each other. You know what I'm saying? And to free the whole world, right? It's not just Black people there's white people that are oppressed, like poor white people who don't even know that they're being used to, like, shield rich people, right? And to keep this, like, economic gap between the rich white people and the poor Black people. You know what I'm saying? And they get a little bit of something, not realizing that that's what they're being used for. Like, there's a book, man. There's a book called Killers of the Dream by Lillian Smith, written back in the 1800s, that talks about the creation of racism. You know what I'm saying? And how it's done. Like, she was a woman writing, it was illegal for women to write. And that's one of the things she chose to write about. Imagine that. Like, that's really powerful. You know what I'm saying? So, like, like, there's a whole world there's a whole world beyond what we're taught. And the way that we communicate is through words, right? And I'm not just saying verbal words, because if you have someone who's deaf, they communicate in sign language, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's another, I still call them words, you know what I'm saying? So.
I'm hearing you out. I'm ready to write my poem.
All right.
I'm ready. It's gonna be my first time actually writing a poem instead of a song.
Bro, a song is a poem.
I know, but it just seemed like if I'm talking it, like even like talking my song to you, it feels like I'm having a conversation with you and I'm trying to get you to understand it. When I sing to you, it's more like I'm making a statement on top of this music and you're gonna get it and it's gonna sound good.
Well, so here's the tricky thing about that, right? If me and Phaedra had a conversation about one of your songs, right? At some point in time, we're gonna veer off on different paths of understanding. Even though you wanted us to get this particular message, right? I come to, like for instance, when I said to you the gifting words, right? This is the interpretation idea I wanted you to have, right? But when allowing you your space of your own interpretation of gifting words, you and Phaedra had two different ideas of what gifting words is, right? And the beauty of it is allowing enough room for us to all have our own interpretation of what gifting words is, but still having some idea that there can be some positive outcome and how we can come about or get to that positive outcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, bro, trust me, that music is poetry, bro. It is.
Yes,
It is.
Yeah.
My nephew, ain't that crazy? Paige, what's it like having your daughter on here?
Naima
Yeah.
makes me excited. She's always good energy. So, and her writing is just it's phenomenal. I wasn't writing that like that at her age. I mean, she's really good. But she does. I think she writes better short stories. And now that she's not here, it's always good to see her. So it makes my day.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad this could be a platform where you and your daughter can connect on a whole other level.
Oh yeah.
That's
Definitely.
that's phenomenal to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
A foster child, an orphan, creating a platform where families can connect on a whole other.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, Phaedra. I
Mm-hmm.
know I joke around with you a lot, but for real, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, beautiful people.
Well,
Thank you all very much. I'm gonna go back and lay down because my blood pressure is rising.
It was a fun night. It was really being able to see the family and stuff. It was great. And it's so nice meeting you. Keep up with your beautiful, I mean, really, you have good energy. Look at the light is just shining behind you. So that sending those good vibes out in the universe. So
Oh,
very nice meeting you. Hey, you guys, I'm going to go too. Good night to everybody, okay?
have a good night.
And
Thank you.
Maurice, I'm going to send you that list like we talked about before, okay?
Thank you.
Nice meeting
all
you.
right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Nice meeting you too.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye-bye.
Daniel. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
We're gonna get that radio show. Man, tonight was. I've been school. I've been doing like 3 and 4 days awake, barely any sleep, studying. I'm so glad I passed that last test because like now it's a lot easier on me. Although I wish I would have got a higher grade, but for the next week or two, my whole agenda is like getting sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because my body needs it. But I did like a 3-mile walk today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that took a lot out of me too. But like you know, I went to take a nap, and I haven't slept that deep in a long time. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, ideas.
So I apologize about that. We'll be
Nah.
we'll be on next Friday.
Okay.
Same is like the same platform, but it's a different meeting. It's going to be a different meeting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Ghetto journalism is the word now until it builds up. Then we'll like rebrand it and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
all right,
All right.
we're gonna take back the ghetto, bruh.
All right. That's what I'm trying to do.
Word.
I'm trying to bring them out the ghetto.
You know what, man? Like, there's nothing. So, like, when we look at the ghetto, I think that like if we want to change, right? Like that term, like bring people out the ghetto. Like,
Well, when I say bring them out, I literally mean like get people out of the inner cities, not like to the suburbs or anything like that. Like, I think our people are supposed to be separate. And I think that as long as they infuse with everything that's going on in those inner cities and stuff like that, and we don't have a collective community or place or like a refuge of our own, we always going to be affected by what's going on because the system that they got that's above us is not designed to include us. It was never designed to have us in it. And so the
well,
only way that we could really get something is have our own.
well, here's the thing, right? As long as we're waiting to have our own before creating a change, we're never gonna create that change, right? We have to change where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, for instance, like, so building this platform, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, my intentions is not to take people out the ghetto. My intentions is like to bring more resources to the ghetto, to the people, and not to the people and the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because what the ghetto really is, the ghetto is a place that is designed to keep people, locked out of a institution, right? And how do you change that? You either break them into the institution or you create another institution. Well, the
Right.
problem with breaking them into an institution is that they still don't own the institution. So if we create another institution, guess what? We have effectively destroyed the ghetto.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like people don't have to actually move from where they're at to leave the ghetto, right? We amass resources and create ways for people to access those resources while putting back into the new system.
Right. But I
You
feel
know,
like if you go look into the ghettos of the major cities, they like in Cincinnati, right?
mhm.
Downtown Cincinnati, when I moved there in like 2008, I think it was 2008, 2004. 2008 was when I graduated. 2004 was when I moved there. It was so heavily populated with Black people. I'm talking about from one side of downtown to the other, right?
Mhm.
2 years later, I'm like, man, where are the Black people starting to go? They started disappearing. A couple of years after that, now it's marathons and the other people walking dogs and you know what I'm saying, and
Gentrification.
the rainbow people, the different color people, and
Gentrification.
yeah, gentrification. But it's crazy because now what we would normally call the ghetto in the cities is the suburbs is now that got that term. You
You
know,
know,
instead of
here's the interesting thing, right? And I was listening. What was my sister telling me about it? You know what I'm saying? Was that people signed off on a bum deal. A lot of times, what
right,
happens is like, Black people follow other Black people only
hmm
because they have a name and a little title, not because that Black person's done anything. You know what I'm saying? The
hmm
problem is that a lot of times Black people won't educate themselves and will follow the lead of other people who are seemingly educated because they went to college, right? And then Black folks would be like, "Well, damn, like, why'd you lead us here? Like, they were meant to lead you there. They
Would
led
it
you
be
there
college,
because, huh?
college or status? I
Both.
should say yes, both.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like there are people that went to college and have status that have done good things for us, right? But like,
right,
problem is that we're not working as a collective,
right.
and we got to figure out how to do that. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So it's like with poetic recovery, like people come in for like they should be able to make decisions, and they haven't been here for even a year, and I'm like, well, why do you get to make decisions when you haven't really put much into this? Like
Right,
I put 20 years into building this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that have made donations, you know what I'm saying? Right? Um, I've been into a car accident and got some sum of money and I put a lump sum of money into this, right? Like, so when you compare like who invested what, like, should your small investment allow you to be on the same status as someone who like put a lot into it? You know what I mean?
right,
So like those are things that I'm like, weighing out. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are involved into this, like what do you get out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you keep coming to Poetic Recovery, you know what I'm saying? You can get your music on the radio station. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like not anyone can get their music on the radio station. That radio
right,
station is being heard in Africa, Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
right,
creating a change with this, right? When you go into Poetic Recovery, you're posting in the group. When you're sharing and you're communicating how others' work. People like put links into the group and it's like, no, you're advertising. You're not connecting. Someone shares your work, they're only sharing your work. They're not sharing the group and your work. That's advertising. We're not here to like focus on one person. We're here to focus on the network. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because as the network grows, the individual grows. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I love to see a poetic recovery where we have a $500 million budget and we're buying up buildings in different areas, and the artists that are like spiritually and culturally supporting poetic recovery have no want for a home.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So
That's dope.
yeah, yeah, like artists that support poetic recovery have no want for like a place to be heard. There's an online radio station.
Right,
Promote the radio station. You know what I'm saying? Come to the open mic. You're heard on the radio station, right? Record your poetry, in a decent format. You know what I'm saying? Send it so it can be put on the radio station. You're heard. You know what I mean?
right.
So, there's power in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put yourself in a position to be able to start a radio show. You know what I'm saying? But it has to it has to align with the mission of Poetic Recovery and Community Against Hate. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
I get what you're saying. I catch your drift.
so we're building, you know what I'm saying? Like we keep looking, well, if we had that, okay, well, we keep looking at what if we had this instead of looking at what we do have and building on what we do have.
Yeah, but I agree. I totally agree with that. We always do look at we don't never we tend not to be grateful for what we already possess.
Millionaires didn't start off with $1 million. They started off with something small and they built it up and convinced people that, hey, this is something you need. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that like I don't have, well, there is some convincing of people that like, yo, you need this. Like I don't have to convince people. Like most people know they need something different. They just don't know what it is. So I just put it, like, hey, why don't you come check it out? And when they come, they're like, yo, I needed that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, like, and they come, you know what I'm saying? They bring other people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I think you're on to something great. And I think I don't know, you just move from here. And I think it works as long as we stay faithful and committed to it. Because that's
that's
one
it.
thing that God do honor, faithfulness and commitment.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are scared. Like, it's funny because people be scared when it comes to the ghetto. People be scared to support what you build because they're like, oh, you're going to get rich. But they have no problem being committed to going to the mall, spending money with people that do nothing, that already have millions and billions and don't even care to like invest any of that in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird like how that works, that dichotomy. You know what I'm saying? Someone in the ghetto is you see them actually doing their best to invest in different parts. You know what I'm saying? People with what little bit they have, that's where you should be spending your money.
Right. Yeah, but the thing is, we get taught that when somebody has more, we get taught that when somebody has more, that it's a better investment because they have doors that are, they got something that people in the ghetto don't have.
What's that?
Well, to be honest, well, that's what people believe. Like for instance, one day I thought about how somebody in the ghetto would take a hanger, stick it inside of the antenna part on the TV, and rig it up to make sure that the channels work, right? And so one day I sat there and I was like, wow, they literally made an antenna and made money off of this. But the person who really had the idea for the invention was the one who had the aluminum foil wrapped around the hanger. You feel me? And
Yeah.
so I'm saying they would trust this inventor who says that he invents because he has the financial power in a sense to make it work on a major scale before they would trust this person who's been doing it for the longest and been getting better results than the inventors, you know what I'm saying, than the inventors. And so I think that that's because we've been taught that just because somebody has a better financial backing or whatnot, that is we can roll with them. It's gonna be more durable. It's better for us to have that because if they're rich and they have it and we have it, then we are just as rich as them. Are we on the same level as them? You know? So I think it's an association. People like that association to somebody who's up as opposed then to associating themselves with somebody that they feel like is low and don't have.
Well, it's interesting because like so many of these people are rich because like people have believed in them and entrusted them with their inventions, and those rich people like took off with those inventions. When really what that poor person needed to do was learn how to like register their own inventions, right? And then pitch their ideas so when people try to take off with their inventions, they're like, okay, Go ahead. And
Yeah,
then not let them not give them the okay, but like let them do it. And then
right.
later on be like, yo, you stole my invoked ventures. You owe me $500 million.
Dollars. But for a long time, those things wasn't privy to the lower level. Well, what social status
Right.
basically, what we're called the lower level,
Well,
people
but
or the
people have
poor.
so much access to information right now. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, the
But
only thing,
I feel like even with access, the process that I would have, well, I mean, y'all be blessing me, but the process that I'm just saying, speaking in a literal sense or like a physical sense, like the process that I will have to go through, even with my access to information, like even with my access to education or access to information, the process that I will have to go through, different than Jack or John would have to go through is totally different. Like for instance, when a job called me and they talked to me, except for not this one because this company already knew who I was before I got the job. But most jobs, when they call me and they hear Daniel Ty and they hear me talk over the phone, I don't believe that before I show up, most of them even know that I'm a black dude.
right?
And
Yeah,
then by the time I get there, they're like, this him? Like that's Daniel? And I'm like, yeah. And they like, man, he positive. He like, I could see it on their face, like he elated about work.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like he's moved about making this happen. We can work with that.
right.
But
Oh, yeah,
I feel like I would never have to see that on their face if they heard me on the phone, heard my name, and I showed up, you know, fair skinned, a little bit brighter. And so I'm saying even with the access to the information, some things are still made harder for us than and those from the ghetto than it is for somebody who's not from there who got a little more money and they can kind of pay for their way through it. You know,
yeah.
our mom and daddy can sew into the alumni or the alumni association or do this or that. So I mean,
You know,
I
that's the that look at the like. I'm glad you brought up the alumni association, right? Look at like the many organizations that are out there, like the Divine Nine. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, like I know they do some good stuff for certain people, right? But
uh
they're connected to all these huge organizations and stuff like that that don't want to do anything with investing in the ghettos, as we was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
right,
That support the government organizations and so-called community organizations that their sole purpose is to like get all the grants for doing youth work, but like what work are they actually doing for the youth? You know what I'm saying? Right?
uh-huh,
You know, so like we need like honestly, bro, like, you know, kudos to those organizations and the Divine Nines that are actually doing work. But there's
uh-huh,
so many organizations out there that are not actually doing work because there are no, you know what I'm saying, there are no grants and fundings to actually do work, you know what I'm saying, to make our communities better, right? Like, so like we have to convince people like, oh yeah, like, yo, so like invest in this so like we can actually do the work. You know what
right,
I'm saying? You know, so that's gonna come with us, you know, investing in our communities, those around us, you know what I'm saying? You know,
mhm,
connecting people up with opportunities as we see them, um, stuff like that. So
right. No, I get what you're saying. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
yeah.
I'm on the mission. I'm all about not assimilating. I'm all about getting my own. It's
Oh,
been hard because
absolutely.
all the struggles I've been through, it got me into a bit of narcissism and a bit of too much selfishness.
Bro,
And even though,
it's designed to do that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and
It's designed to do that because like if you're frustrated and you're, you know, you're gonna give up, you're gonna be sick of it, you know what I'm saying? You're
yeah,
gonna like, you know, screw everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And you become this person, you become the person that you didn't even like, you know what I'm saying? Now you're that person, you know what I'm saying?
right,
It's like, well, damn, Daniel became that person, you know what I mean? You know,
Right. And then when you're so stressed, when you stressed out like that, you only think about the stress. That's one reason why I decided to step away from home. I was so stressed out that it stopped my progress and my desire to accomplish things everywhere else. All I could focus on was how stressed out, how beat up I was. Like, I mean, I would literally, no lie, I would play, I play sports. That's my thing. I used to get a release from playing sports. I was so stressed out, I would hit the game winning shot and walk away and be like, damn, I got to go back home to this mess. I got to go back to this again.
man.
Like, damn, I wish I would never hit that shot, boy. I wish that would have just took a couple more minutes to hit.
Yeah.
But that's how much, because it's what it started making me do was I had to develop this false pride to make myself feel better than where I was. And when I recognized that it wasn't really, when I recognized that this pride that I had about myself wasn't really real, it was all superficial and surface. That
Yeah.
got me the most because I'm like, I spent all this time building this persona, this personality, and I ain't even this personality. And now everybody who has seen me over this amount of time and everywhere I've been, I'm showing this personality, and I have not been myself the whole time. So when they finally see the real me, they're never gonna accept that, you know. And when I started showing the real me, it was hard for people to deal with because I had to build this other personality to mask for all this stress, you know, all this anguish, all this hurt, all this despair I was feeling. And so, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You know, what I mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
but I think that it just applies to how we talk about society and how that's the level of stress and oppression and all the different things that have been placed on us and make us so narcissistic because we have to then develop a way to cope with it and overcome at the same time. You feel me? And that's what leaves us as Black people a lot of times in the position we in because we trying to cope, but at the same time we trying not to, you know, it's like we trying to cope, but at the same time we trying to make it, but then we gotta cope because you don't wanna let it be seen that you really messed up. You really messed up, you
But you
know.
know what? I mean, that's the thing that we have to let it be seen that we're messed up. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, right? Like, so you got people doing these false personas, right? Look at, you know what I'm saying? But then they're going home and they're ODing on drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're murdering the people around them or this and that. You know what I'm saying? And reality is like, if all we did was, if we just allowed ourselves to just be seen in the
Uh-huh.
first place and we allowed that stuff out, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, people wouldn't have these false expectations on us. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like, you're either going to be great at what you're at or you're not, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if you're great, people are going to love what you do regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's why, like, on my Facebook page, man, I was like, yo, I talk about serious stuff and then I'll put a wild joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, people like, damn, where that shit come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I'm human and I'm gonna be human. I like to laugh, right?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this message. Hey, I'm talking to my uncle from Massachusetts. I'm gonna call you back in a second. You going back into work? He right here. Look,
Hold up. Let me see. Who is that?
my brother, my best friend.
You gotta put the picture up so I can see him.
Oh, can you see him?
Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring the phone up. Bring the
Bring
phone
it
up.
up.
Bring the phone up. Up. You're bringing it down. Bring the phone up.
Oh, I'm bringing it down.
Yeah. Bring the phone
Hold
up.
on, wait. Oh, right there. There you go.
There you go. What's good, man?
He,
How you feeling?
All right. How you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well.
That's what's up. That's what it looked like. That's good.
Yes, sir. But all right, man. Just hit me up later, bro.
all right, I will.
All right.
All right. Okay, that's my best friend. That's like he like a brother to me.
That's good, man. We all need that, you know.
He always called me to check on me because like my situation with the warehouse and how I'm living or whatnot. So just to make sure I'm good because I took on a lot. That's why when you just saw me looking at text, I got a text and I'm just like, I don't even want to really answer back to the text because it's another part of that stress I was talking about.
Right.
You know, when you make decisions, one thing this old man taught me that I used to talk to used to say, once you make a decision, you stand firm on it. You don't let nothing turn you back from that decision.
Right.
And I believe that. And so, the same person that got me to that stressful situation now hit me up trying to dictate and determine once again how they can control how I move or the way I go about things. And so now I'm in a position where I've gotten out of having to be that false persona, that false person, and I can answer and be direct and stand on what I say and don't have to be nobody else. Well, what I feel, what I think, and what and I'm happy about that because now the control is it's in my hand now. And I'm not going to use it to manipulate. I'm going to use it to do the right thing with it. You feel me? So
that's the important thing right there.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. But you know, make sure that you're secure at all times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, we talked about that. We talked, you know, no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
you gotta make sure you're secure at all times. You know.
Right.
All right, man. You're like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I can't wait to be on the radio. That's gonna be super.
On the radio right now.
Oh, for real? What's this on? Oh, this on Facebook Live?
It's on Facebook Live and it's on the radio station.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I'm with it.
It's your boy Mauricio Fonda Taylor talking with Daniel Ty right now, who's a musician, you know what I'm saying? Creative spirit, creative soul, working to help heal people, heal himself, you know what I'm saying? And let others learn through his journey and while he's learning from other people's journey. You know what I'm saying? And tonight we featured Saleem Abdal-Khaaliq. Thanks to Phaedra, who also brought her daughter Naima. You know what I'm saying? All like just 3 generations of greatness was on tonight. So that was amazing. And I was joined by my nephew tonight, Daniel Ty, which is a blessing and a treat in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for tuning in tonight, man. You know, it's crazy, man. Like, you know, I've been trying to get a family to like, you know, support this for a long time. And like, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's amazing to have you on here, man. And you know, sharing your positivity, you know, in a way where like you're not preaching at people, but you're sharing your experience. You know what I'm saying? And I can't give a platform to people that like, you know, whose lives are like in disarray and trying to like tell people to organize their own lives. Like, no, like let's talk about why your life is in disarray and what you're doing to like fix it up. Because then people whose lives are in disarray can like learn from that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But like if you're like, yo, your life's in disarray and you're like, yeah, you gotta do this, do that, do that, do that. You ain't teaching nobody nothing because people are living off false, you know, false advertisement and their life isn't getting anywhere. If anything, it was doing more harm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so like, you know, I like you keep it real, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? You know, thank you thank you very much. And you know, we're gonna continue work on a website so people can like hear some of those beats, man. You know what I'm saying? So they can like, you know, make some deposits and get some, you know, creative withdrawal. You know what I mean? You know,
Right.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey y'all, thank y'all for tuning into Poetic Recovery, another night of dopeness, deepness, sorrow, and celebration. Keep your head up. Peace.
All right. Peace on.